All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another round of Coffee and Questions. What's today's topic? We had our weekly little group meeting, and we're going to go out later today and meet. And we're going to hit up, a couple of places and see if there's any bargains, and I'll video them and I'll bring them to you if there are. But the topic was when we got together and we met, is I have a friend. He's doing a restoration project on an old drill press. It's a cast material, on a lot of steel, and it is heavy, real heavy. So we kind of moved it around a little bit for him, and I said, look, when we're not here, who's going to help you move it around? Why don't we take a look at some examples and let's see if we could figure out a way, to fabricate, make a dolly for you, and we can put this thing on it while we're all around, and then, you can move it around when we're not around. So we downloaded, or at least took a bunch of pictures off of the web of people that have done them, had some discussions about it, batted around some ideas, and we narrowed them down. So I'm going to go ahead and change the screen here, and then I'll talk about each one of these, which one we decided to go with and why. And it's like I said, there's tons of them out there, I suppose, but they're all made differently. We wanted to make something that was really stout, that would last indefinitely, or at least a lifetime, if you wanted to look at it that way. And it wouldn't be really hard to make. So let me change the picture and we'll go right to the questions, answers, and I'll give you an explanation on what we did. Here we go. Now here's the first one that we considered. Now you can get those bed frame rails or or you can go out to that steel supply place I keep talking about in the videos, look in the scrap section. And even if you didn't have to, the cost of the steel, the hot rolled, it's not that expensive. You can look around for enough pieces to put together what you see here. The thing is make sure you put on strong enough casters to withstand the weight of whatever else you're putting on it. And what you see here, it's a drill press, but it's just pretty much a standard drill press that was put into this dolly. Now, the way that we originally designed this is we designed it using angle iron, which is just bed frame rails because it's what he had laying around. And it was either, I think it was 2-inch wide flat steel. And we went out to the steel supply place. We got some plate steel. We brought it back. We started thinking about it and looking at it. And it wouldn't be that hard. Now make sure if you take a look where these wheels are, you'll see those pieces of diagonal angle, steel welded on there. Those are like gussets, and they're to add additional strength to these, the flat pieces and where those wheels are, so things don't start to buckle on you. So we put those, like you see here in the picture, on each side, on each one of these wheelbases all the way around, and we welded the heck out of it. So we made one this way, and then we realized that for the drill press, that he was working on, the antique one that weighed so much, this probably wasn't going to be the most ideal thing. So what he ended up doing is he went ahead, because we made this a little oversized, and he put his other drill press that he had in his garage, like other people have done, into this, and then you can simply bolt it down, like where you see the bolts here in the picture. Most drill presses have the bolts in that stand. So we put a big thick piece of 3/4-inch plywood as a base inside of this dolly. Then we went ahead and we bolted it down to the flat steel, and then we bolted the drill press down, through the plywood into the steel and out the other side, and we bolted it all up. So it's safety wise, it's incredibly safe. It's nice, it's strong, it's sturdy, rolls around great. Just get good quality casters. And as much as we knock Harbor Freight, they do sell good quality casters. Just stay away from the cheap ones, because they also sell the cheap ones too. So, all right, let me change the picture, and I'm going to show you the one that we ended up making, for that antique drill press he's trying to restore. Okay, so this is the picture I pulled off of the web that we originally looked at, and I'm going to show you a different view here in a second. But this is holding, like a mill. And this is even heavier than what we were planning on doing, with this antique drill press he had. So I figured this thing seems to work for the guy. I read the article in the picture for this big milling machine, which I know weighs far more than the antique drill press. I go, so look, why don't we make it this way? Like I said, let's make it stout. Let's make it overkill. We'll go overkill with everything because it's not going to be that expensive. And then, this thing will stand up, to what you want to put in it. And we'll make it this way because in a way, this is like in two halves. So if you're done moving one piece of equipment, let's say to the corner of your shop, you're still able to reuse these to relocate other pieces of equipment. In his case, he probably won't do that. He's probably going to leave that antique drill press sitting in it either for a very long time, or who knows, he might just leave it on there indefinitely. Let me show you a different view of what we did with this and how we made these. Okay, so this shows the best view of all, of this. I stretched it out a little bit, so it might look a little bit stretched, but I wanted to make sure that I was able to show you all of the detail of this. Now, how did we go about doing this? Again, back out to the steel supply place, and we took measurements and we thought, okay, let's buy, whether it's in surplus and scrap, or, whether you got to buy, longer pieces. We didn't want to, most of the time they sell 20-foot lengths or at least 10-foot lengths, which none of that we needed. So we didn't get it this exact thickness, or the exact width that you see here in the picture, those angle iron pieces. We had to kind of put it together ourselves, basically. So we got steel from out there to where we knew it was long enough, and there was enough of it to where, we ended up doing quite a bit of welding, or he did the bulk of the welding. I shouldn't say me, I didn't. He did bulk of it after we did these drawings and we laid it out. So for the most part, he created all of that L bracketing that you see here in the picture, both for the base and for the sides. Now, if you take a really close look where the casters are on here, this guy probably took little plates of steel that his casters are on and welded them to the the underneath side there. Now, what we did is we didn't quite do that. We turned around and we got small square pieces of flat plate steel like you see here in the picture, and we lined them up, and I told him, take your time and drill this thing out all the way around. Now, the reason why, I'm not sure how he did it here in the picture. I believe he probably welded everything. But I go, when it comes to the casters and the wheels, let's bolt them on. Okay, we'll run the bolts all the way up through, and then you can just come down and you can tighten them up, with lock washers and, tighten them down. That way, in the future, if it sits long enough and the wheels start to go bad, or you have a problem with any of the wheels, you can just kind of jack up one side, or at least lift up one side, however you want, and replace the casters of those wheels easy enough. So this picture, I'm not quite sure if they would be that easy to replace, depending on how, he's attached them to the bottom. But my modification here, and what he went ahead and did, like I said, is drill holes, use bolts all the way around on this. The nice part is if you're able to find the steel, in these wide widths and whatever, it's probably the better way to go. Like I said, we didn't, not a big deal. Welding and goofing around is, part of having fun too. So like I said, he welded all of these angles up. It's almost exactly what you see here in the picture, except for it's not quite that wide. And, it just depends on how heavy it is, what you're trying to move, I suppose. So anyway, I'm kind of rattling here. We painted them John Deere green. Somebody I know is bound to ask the question, how did you do that? When we were all done, we wire brushed, we cleaned everything up. We went over them with a 4.5-inch angle grinder with a flap disc. I think we used either 80 or 120, whatever was on the grinder. We went over the whole thing. When we were done, we wiped it all down with acetone really well. I suggested to him, hey, use primer first, then lightly hit it with sandpaper if you want. Come back across it with whatever color you want. He didn't have the primer. He was in a rush, so he did like a lot of people. And he cleaned it all up. He had the acetone and stuff, and we got it real clean and ready, and he painted it John Deere green. So that was his choice on color. This guy's, of course, is what you see in the picture. You can do yellow, whatever floats your boat, okay? Kind of your quick tip of the day. What kind of MIG wire did we use? We used 030 in this case. If you've got 025 or anything else, it'll still work. Just take your time when you're welding. Make sure you get good burn penetration. You can use any kind of wire you want, and you'll finish the project. It'll turn out nicely. It's nice to be able to move very heavy objects around. Okay, I don't see a lot of questions. I didn't leave it up. It's another one I didn't leave up that long. I just wanted to get the video done, so I was able to put it up before the weekend. I hope you folks have a great weekend. I'll be with you. We'll do some more videos. Didn't quite make this one very long, but try to get right to the point like I always do. Click subscribe, drop me a comment if you have a better way of doing it, or you can point to another way of doing it or something else that should have been done. Let me know. Anyway, I hope you click subscribe and drop a comment. I will see you again soon, folks. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.